Howdy, how you do, cousins? It's Rusty here down at the warehouse. I'm in one of the little office cubicles here, but I wanted to bring something to your attention. I found a really cool object yesterday at a Goodwill, and I didn't know what it was exactly. I had an idea, but I wanted to bring two things to your attention today. One of those is how to look up an item if you do not know what it is by using something called Google Lens. Most of you people are going to be like, oh shoot, Rusty, I've known about Google Lens for coon's age. Well, I didn't. I learned recently, one of my cousins out in Missouri told me about it, and now I use it. I use it on this item, okay? So I'm going to talk about that. Then, because of this specific item, I'm going to talk to you about how to date items like this within a certain time period based on certain laws that were passed earlier in the 1900s and the late 1800s. This is specifically for items that were imported into the United States, oftentimes by Asian countries like China or Japan, or others like might say Saigon, that sort of thing. And so let's jump right into it. Ladies and gents, the item we're going to talk about today is this one right here. Take a look at this. You probably can tell right away that this is an Asian piece. You got a dragon here. It looked like some kind of other, maybe some sort of a bird of prey there. You flip her around. Here's another one, sort of the same picture there. Same picture. It's some sort of like dragon and bird situation. There's another one, beautiful, kind of flying there. Really cool etch work here. Some of this filigree work. On the top, you've got a couple of handles. This thing obviously is loose. When you pull it out, you can see some sort of a little pot in there. And on the top here, you see some figural frogs, 4 of them. So if I drop this out, this thing will pop out. And look at that. It's like a little liquid container there that you could pour. Now, on the back of this, on the bottom, I always check to look, and there's some sort of a symbol right there, as you can see. And on the bottom of this container, there's also a little stamp. But that is not the same, as far as I can tell, that ain't the same stamp. It may have just been a poor impression on the bottom of this. I saw this and I thought, this is clearly old. I could tell just by the look of it. I've also bought other stuff from the early 1900s, Asian pieces that were similar in some ways to this. And so, but I wasn't sure what this was. I didn't know what type of substance was supposed to be put into this. So I used a thing called Google Lens. Oftentimes, if I have a good idea of something, I can just get on eBay, and it doesn't take me long to find comps or find a similar item. But if I don't even know what it is, there's a way you can use your Google app, and you click a button that scans the item, and it will search the internet for items that look similar and give you an idea. So let me flip over now. I'm going to do this on this item. I'm going to turn it over like this, and we're going to see what it spits. Click on your Google app here, and then in this upper right here, there's where you would type in, there's the microphone, and then there's the camera. I want you to click on that camera icon, Google Lens. You put it right over the item, and then you click on that shutter. It takes a photo of it, and then as soon as you do, it pops up items that are similar. Look at this on the bottom left. Chinese antique silver teapot wine. Superb. I'm going to click on that. You can also see other items that are similar underneath of it. But let's just click on this one. Let's visit ebayhere.com and see. It says it is a Chinese antique silver teapot wine. Superb example. Just look at this. This is not exact, but it is very similar. Look, the same pot. I can tell from this photo that my piece is now missing a little piece on the top there where it would cover up where you would hold the actual liquid. The bottom of that, you can see. So, first off, I know for a fact it's Asian. It's Chinese. It is a teapot, it says here. I did a little bit more searching. This one is coming from another country here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to try it a second time. And we're going to see what pops up. All right. I'm going to pull it from a different angle, like this. And let's see what pulls up when I do it this way. Looking for results. Now we got different results here. There's that, see, again, it pops up that antique silver wine pot. Looking for other ones that might be similar. But let's just go to eBay here now and see if we can look up Chinese pot or Chinese warmer and see what we find here. Look at that. The very first thing that pops up here, Chinese antique wine warmer, made of silver again. So it looks like these are made of a precious metal, silver, at least silver plated. This is very similar to mine. It doesn't have the frogs on the top of it, but it does have that same container. Look at that, same container. This one is, and look at that, that has basically the same stamp on the bottom of it as mine has. So we're very close here, and this is calling it a wine warmer made of silver. What does the description say? It just says that it's a wine warmer. It has a stamp on the bottom, but it doesn't tell me. So I don't know what the age is of this, but I do know that it's silver. I know that it's Chinese, and a little bit more research will clear up whether or not it's for wine or for tea or what, but it is definitely some sort of beverage warmer that's made out of silver. That's awesome. It's a great start. Folks, sometimes it's difficult to know how old an object is. This is clearly very old, and you can tell even by the discoloration here, or I guess rather the discoloration on the outside and the lighter color here, that this used to have a piece that sat on top. Likely it was the kind that had that little monkey on it, and you can even see where my thumb's at, a little piece of kind of rough metal where that must have been soldered on there and broke off. So this is a damaged piece, which is unfortunate, but it is very old, I can tell. I see this stamp, and I don't know what this stamp means. I don't read Chinese characters. I don't know, is this a hallmark? Is this telling me that this is made of silver? Is this telling me it's from China? And how in the world does a person date something like this that you don't necessarily know an age on it? Well, I'll tell you. And I wrote up something here to show you. There were certain laws that were passed for things that were made to import into the United States that will give you an idea. This is really important for ceramics, things made of metal like this or wood that were made for the American market, as far as what they had to do on their object per rules and laws in the United States. So before 1890, it did not matter what they put on this. There were no rules or regulations at all. But in 1890, something called the McKinley Tariff Act was signed into law, and that said that any sort of item that was imported in the U.S. had to say the country name, the name of the country of manufacture on it. So it would have to say either China or Saigon or Nippon, which is what they used to write on it for Japan. So, if you have an item like this that does not say anything on it, it's very possible that it could be older than 1890 because there were no requirements, right? If it has some sort of a stamp or it says the country of manufacture, then it may be between 1890 and 1914. Because in 1914, another law happened that said it must say on it, made in that country. For example, it had to say made in China or made in Nippon, all right? But it could be in any language. It could be in Chinese. It could be in Japanese characters. It didn't have to say it in English. So if it does have something that says made in a country, but it maybe says Nippon, or it does not have to be, it could be in their original language, then it likely was made between 1915 and 1921. And then, of course, in 1921, the law changed again and became even more strict. And they said all of it has to be in English. So it must say, made in the country of manufacture, and the whole sentence must say it in English. It's made in Japan, or it's made in Thailand, for example. It can't say Saigon or anything like that. So, recap, prior to 1890, it doesn't have to say anything. If it's after 1914, it must say made in. If it's actually between 1890 and 1914, it must have the country. If it's between 1915 and 1921, it'll say made in the country, but it may not be in English. And then after 1921, it'll say made in that country. Now, here are the exceptions. This is what makes it a little confusing. That's for stuff that's manufactured with the intention of importing it to the United States. However, what if someplace like China made an object that was intended only for their own market, and then someone, say from the United States, traveled there, purchased it, and brought it home with them. Well, you then might have an object that doesn't exactly fit these rules perfectly. But based on this, I would say because this has a marking on it, that there was a requirement to have a marking on this, that this symbol is either going to indicate that this is made of silver. Maybe that's how these other people who are selling these know that it's made out of silver. Maybe they did a test, a metal test on it. Or maybe that's a character that says China. If you're out there and you know what a character like this means, if this is a character for China, or if this is a character for a hallmark, or if this is a character that means a certain type of metal, I'd be very interested to know, cousins. I'm always looking to try to learn stuff from other people out there too. But there you have it, folks. If next time you get a piece of ceramics that looks like it's made in some sort of Asian country, turn that sucker over and look. Does it say anything? Does it say that it's made in China? Does it say Nippon? Or does it say made in Japan or in English? Because that'll give you a rough indication of about the time period in which it was made. I hope that helps, folks. Come on back and see us soon. Folks, thanks so much for sticking around here. Hopefully I taught you a thing or two. And if not, maybe you'll just have a better idea of how to date things in the future, or even look for items like this. You can definitely resell them and make some money, especially if you buy them like I did in this item for $1.50. Happy hunting out there. Rusty, how to